Here we want to look at how to evaluate a function as well as find its domain. So given the function f of x equals 3x minus 5 all divided by x plus 5, first let's look at how to find f of 1. So what this is telling us to do is to take whatever value here is inside of the parentheses and use that to replace the x in our original function. So f of negative 1 is going to become 3 times negative 1 minus 5 all divided by negative 1 plus 5. So then simplify where you can, simplifying first in the numerator, then in the denominator, doing the division last. So here we have negative 3 minus 5 all over negative 1 plus 5. So subtracting negative 3 minus 5, we have a negative 8 in the numerator. Negative 1 plus 5, we have 4. And now that we've simplified each the numerator and the denominator, now we'll divide. So negative 8 divided by 4 is equal to negative 2. So we have found that f of negative 1 is equal to negative 2. You can think of this as an ordered pair. When x is negative 1, y is equal to negative 2 for this particular function. We can also plug in expressions or variables into a function just in the same way that we do with a number like we did in part A. So to find f of a, we want to replace the x's with a's. So we'll have 3a minus 5 all over a plus 5. For this particular part of the problem, this is as far as we can go. We cannot simplify any further. So a note of caution. You cannot take something like 3a minus 5 all over a plus 5 and cancel off the a's. That is not a legal way to simplify a fraction like this. So we cannot cancel terms within a fraction. So when we have a fraction like this, unless there is a common factor between the numerator and denominator, there's nothing we can do to simplify, and this will just be our final answer. So last, when we're considering the domain of a function of this kind of format where we have a fraction, we call this a rational function, we need to ensure that the denominator, that's the bottom, cannot be equal to 0 because we can't divide by 0 in our function. So we want to think about when is x plus 5 equal to 0. X plus 5 is equal to 0 if x is equal to negative 5. So what this tells us is that our domain is that x can be any number as long as it's not equal to negative 5. The way that we can write this in set builder notation is using the curly brackets to represent a set. Say that we want the set of all values x, since the domain is represented with our x values, such that x is not equal to negative 5. So the curly brackets are used to denote a set. We state what variable it is that we're working with, in this case x. The vertical bar there is read as such that x is not equal to negative 5. So we're saying x can be any value as long as it's not equal to negative 5.